Welcome to this podcast, the first in FlexoTech magazine's Leaders in Flexo series, with me, Andy Naggs, editor of FlexoTech magazine. Going forward, we hope to regularly get some great people from the industry in front of our camera to talk about their careers, their organisations, and their approaches to leadership in the Flexo sector. First up is Alena Maran, VP for Strategy and Transformation at European flexible packaging producer Adapa Group. Alena generously gave us her time to discuss the major project of transformation that she's in the middle of implementing at the business, talking about the challenges and the opportunities involved in pushing change through in an organisation of Adapa's scale. She also talks about leadership in a more general sense, and there's a little twist at the end where the conversation goes in a direction I certainly didn't expect. Before we get to it, a quick message from the sponsor of this podcast, which is Tessa. For over 125 years, Tessa has been a global leader in adhesive solutions. In the flexographic printing industry, Tessa provides plate mounting tapes, static and flying splice tapes, and complementary solutions designed to optimize production processes, enhance print quality, and help improve customers' products, operations, and everyday work. Thanks to Tessa for their support of the podcast, and without further ado, let's get over to the very interesting and enjoyable conversation I had with Alena as we kick off Leaders in Flexo, Episode 1. So let's begin by welcoming our guest. I'm joined today by Alena Maran, VP for Strategy and Transformation at Adapa Group. Alena, hello over there in Amsterdam and welcome to the podcast.
Hello, Andy. Excited to be here. Looking forward to our conversation.
Excellent. Okay. So before we get on to that, just a little background information to start with. Adapa Group is one of Europe's largest suppliers of flexible packaging, employing around 2,000 people in extrusion, printing and converting facilities, and serving customers in the food, tobacco, home and personal care and healthcare industries. Across the group, Adapa has more than 15 production sites, running a mixture of flexographic, rotogravure and digital printing technologies. Alena joined the business almost 2 years ago with a background in packaging, sustainability and strategy consulting. Among her previous leadership roles was Director of Strategy and Sustainability for Labels in Europe, the Middle East and North Africa at Avery Dennison. Her role at Adapa is a pivotal one in developing overall strategy and driving commercial excellence, covering strategy, product innovation, sustainability and marketing, and working closely with the executive board in doing so. So let's start by talking about strategy and transformation and your position at Adapa Group, Alena. But before we discuss what's happening with the business, give us a quick snapshot. What does your day-to-day, week-to-week entail as you go about your job?
Thank you. What I love about Adapa, while we are you can say mid-sized corporate, we have a very entrepreneurial mindset and very entrepreneurial mentality. And that really translates into my day-to-day work because I can be doing anything that sits within anything in a very diverse set of topics in one day. In one go, I can be discussing the trends, the newest technologies that are happening on the market. And half an hour later, I will have to be on a call to discuss how do we address the Middle Eastern crisis with our customers. And I think that's the beauty of my role because I take a very holistic product, communication, strategy view. And I try to say what we as Adapa bring to our customers, how do we add value, and it has to be a very holistic view. So
that's quite a loop to go straight into global politics like that, really, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. I never thought that I'll have to cover it, but sometimes I do. And indeed, sometimes I start one day one colleague told me, on the usual chit chat, how are you doing? And he said, it's never boring at Adapa. And I truly believe by that. It's never a boring day.
So if we look at the business and that big word of transformation, tell us about the transformation that's taking place at Adapa and the challenges that you're facing in that.
Mm-hmm. I think I would like to start by walking you through a little bit the history of Adapa. The group started through acquisitions. So the group started in 2012 with an investment thesis of acquiring companies in attractive specialties. The previous management of the team was not focusing on integration, but it was focusing on expanding through acquisitions. And us, the new leadership team that came in place around 2 years ago, our strong focus is to create a truly integrated European leader. And the key word that I'm going to use a lot in our conversation is one adapa. This is a very charged word for us that means that we are truly building from companies with very strong history and very strong expertise. We are trying to create one lean group that will be so customer focused, that will bring the newest technologies on the market, and that will bring the best what we have, our people up front, in this very changing environment. So the key word for transformation for us, what it means is, how do we make us future-proof with all the external market challenges, be it regulatory headwinds, be it macroeconomic environment, be it geopolitics? How do we make sure we come out of that and we truly win on the market and we bring value to our customers? That's what our transformation is about. And the second part of your question, what are the challenges that we are facing or I'm facing? I think it's a lot of external environment. Packaging industry was always quite a slowly moving, predictable industry, but not since COVID, not since PPWR. And the amount of uncertainty that we are facing is enormous. Be it what are the future right packaging designs, being how do you encourage consumers towards a specific brand, or how do you create brand appeal? At the same time, how do you cut costs? Because it's a lot of macroeconomic pressures. At the same time, our customers are thinking that they don't want to make investments in new machinery and they want to keep the old technologies. So there is a lot of polar forces that we need to operate, and any flexible packaging company need to operate in. And I think that also adds to the sentence that it's never a boring day.
Yeah, and you referenced the previous regime at adapa. I mean, it's obviously not a very, very old company, but it's been going for a number of years. How much does legacy thinking, perhaps legacy structures, stand in the way of the kind of transformation that you're looking to bring about?
Mm-hmm. I think I want to start saying that not all legacy is negative. Legacy has also its own strength. Legacy means expertise. Legacy means customer trust. Some of our entities have been serving customers for 20 plus years. So what we need to make sure that we make the best, or we take the best out of the word legacy, meaning history and expertise and knowledge and know-how. At the same time, legacy creates complexity, because legacy means that people and system works in the old way, and they're not always adapting to the latest trends or to the latest technologies. Think about AI, how much AI can transform any industry in the world, including flexible packaging. And how do you nurture the best out of legacy? At the same time, how do you make a more lean, agile, simplified approach that people can stand behind and that can reduce complexity and encourage us to move forward? So legacy thinking has its pluses and minuses. It's just finding the balance.
Yeah, sure. Okay. So what's your approach to managing the organization and I guess critically its people through this transformation process? Because I guess there can be, especially when people have been in an organization for a long time, there can be not resistance necessarily, but not even fear necessarily, but people don't necessarily always want to change, don't necessarily always see the need for it. How do you kind of approach managing that kind of change through an organization like adapa?
Yeah, that's a really great question, because we as a leadership, we are asking it ourselves every day. With time, I realized that the only right model for me is being authentic to myself, and I can only lead by doing what I do best. And my key values personally, I'm very action-oriented, I'm very pragmatic, and I'm always very transparent. So for me, transformation or to transform and to bring people along, it means that you can't design a culture in a boardroom and then push it down. You really need to make sure that people understand why we are changing and what it means for them and how they can come along. And I can do that only by truly showing my passion. And I'm a very passionate person. I'm very passionate about solving complex things and explaining complex structures. So I truly believe if you create clarity, if you explain the urgency of change, because the industry, it's not just adapa, the industry is transforming, and you explain that for us to be successful, for us to really win, to do our best for our goods, as you can see on my background, it's our motto. We really need to start changing. I think people are always resistant to change. Change is bad, or change, there is always a perception that it's easier to do the usual things than changing. But I think if you're making it, those are if you prioritize, if you make it transparent and you make it easier for people to follow, guys, we no longer use this process, we use this process. It's simplified, it's streamlined, it has its benefits. Yes, it has its drawbacks. You listen to feedback and slowly, step by step, you change. But probably the learning I've been with adapa for almost 2 years now, the key learning for me is never underestimate the time it's required for people to accept it.
I bet, yes. Yeah. So it's really about kind of engaging and explaining on that person to person level sometimes, I guess, rather than expecting that things, put down from up in the ivory tower from up high are just going to be accepted across the organization. I guess that's key.
Yeah. And repetition.
Yeah. Okay. So where is the business on this journey of transformation, and what are the what's been achieved and what are the priorities going forward?
Mm-hmm. So I have to say we are quite early stages of our transformation. One mentor one time told me that culture eats strategy for breakfast, and that's really true, because transformation starts from within, and it's for us to encourage our teams to do their best, to adopt the new practices, a new way of working. What I absolutely love about adapa is that we are extremely resilient as an organization, and that we are extremely diverse, and it really plays at our strengths. We recently had like a summer party event at headquarters, and we had maybe 30, 40 colleagues in a room, and we were playing a little game. And one of the games was, guess how many nationalities do you have in one room? And out of 30, 40 people, we had 17 nationalities. And I think this diversity of nationality, diversity of opinions, diversity of experiences really plays into our strength. So what I'm trying to say, answering your question, is we're early on our journey, but I truly believe that our people, our teams have finally bought into the new vision and into the new strategy and why do we need to change. And we already celebrating quite great successes. We are becoming leaner as an organization. We are standardizing our processes. We are launching new amazing recyclable products on the market. So when you encourage people, then we start slowly seeing some early successive and positive results that I'm really proud of.
Did it take a while then to make the case to people? I mean, you kind of said that you're finally you've got the message through to people and starting to make progress now. So was it difficult to kind of overcome culture, I guess, to start off with, before you can even actually really start the process of changing things?
I don't think we can use a past tense. Yes, we are still overcoming and we're still in the process. And I think we're still early. So was it challenging? Yes. Is it challenging? Yes. It is still challenging. We are seeing progress. And I will just say that once you have a few individuals on board, once you find your passionate ambassadors, whoever you want to call it, and adapa is truly, the culture in our company is truly wonderful. People are really engaged and really involved in all the activities. It's just about taking them along on the journey of the changes that need to happen. So there's a lot of things yet to come and a lot of things yet to change to be future-proof as organization, but we started and we see successes.
Yeah, it's interesting you know the ambassadors for the change and kind of getting those on board. Do you need a spread of those across all the different departments, all the different areas of the business, rather than being kind of focused on production or sales or whatever? It needs to be people from across the whole range of activities that the business does.
Yeah, it absolutely has to be from across all range of activities, and it has to come naturally. You can't encourage or force someone to be an ambassador if they don't truly believe in it. I just want to return back to what I said before. You need to be authentic. So we need to find people who authentically believe this is the right thing, who live by our values, who do or who are behaving the way we encourage to behave. And by acknowledging those successes that these people or this individuals or these teams bring, you start to trickle change more and more and more. I'll give an example of, let's say, sustainability. Because sustainability is one of those topics that I can say sustainability is a transformational topic because it changes the way people used to operate. It changes the product, it changes the production, it changes the customer conversation, it changes the focus somewhat. How do you embed it in your decision-making? And decision-making that comes across at any level, if you buy a new equipment, you need to think through a new machine, a new flexo press. You need to think through, what kind of recyclable material it's going to print? You need to think about, can it print on the PCR material? Because there are different little functionalities and tweaks. So you embed sustainability early in the decision-making, and then you cascade it across every single step of your kind of working or your day-to-day. But it takes time.
Yeah. Okay. And so you're obviously in the process at the moment. So, you know, it's something that's both present and future, really, what you're dealing with at the moment. And so you're not at the end of the process. So what do you think the keys to successful transformation will be? Because you can't kind of look back on this particular project yet and say that was the key to that one working out right. We're still in the process. So.
Mm-hmm. I think number one is clear direction, is explaining to people where the company is going and why. And setting the right clear direction is pivotal for success because the ways how you get there, it's changing. Transformation implies it's never a straight route. It's not that you know every single step of the way how you're going to do, especially since your external environment is changing as well. So you need to take incremental steps, but only if you know where you're going, you can move forward. Number two is focus, because transformation is about every single team and every single process and organization, and you can't change everything and all at once, so you need to select your priorities. And the last one that I want to tackle is ownership, and that also closely aligned with the topic of ambassadors, a topic of really engaged employees. Transformation, I can't transfer the company by myself, or the leadership team can't transform the company. We really need to take everyone on board, and we need to make sure people understand it's for them, with them. And this ownership is topic number 3 for success.
Okay, so how will the business change from both kind of internal perspectives with people within the organization and externally with customers, etc.? How will they see the business changing?
Mm-hmm. So I will start with the second part of your question, because customer centricity is our number one priority. We need to make sure that it's easier for our customers to work with us. We are one lean group. What is interesting, and it's not just about adapa, it's about flexible packaging in Europe overall. The space, the market is extremely fragmented. And a lot of companies, all the companies, even the largest ones, they grew through acquisitions. Even top 3, there is a lot of acquisitions. So there is a lot of diversity in systems and the way of working. And our customers, they need simplicity. Our customers need a partner who they trust and who will be able to help them make decisions. Meaning, how do I pick the right product? How do I ensure there is supply chain continuity? How do I make sure I have resilient raw material supply chain? So those are the topics that we bring on the table for our customers, and we help them solve and we decide together. So this is what the change the customer is seeing. It's a holistic thinking from us, because we holistically think about how do we make sure our organization is successful. If you are internally, what are the big changes is simplicity in working, simplicity in decision making, and data-driven approach. We are really empowering everyone to use more AI, to make data-driven decisions, to take a change, to decide, to try. There is no, we really encourage, or I try to position it, we really encourage failures. You need to go and try. We don't know what's the right way, but let's try, let's pilot, let's try something new, and then slowly we progress. So maybe now that I reflect on my answer right now, probably the main thing, both internally and externally, is simplicity.
Okay. And you mentioned obviously about customers and the ways that they rely upon the organisation for information and education about products and that kind of thing. What do you think a business like adapa can learn from its customers?
Yeah. So our customers are brands, and brands and private label, and they are serving the end users. So they are deeply interconnected with the latest trends, and they feel or they see what the end users are seeing the first. So what we can learn from our customers is that you need to be agile, that the key important considerations are speed, simplicity, brand trust, sustainability, and cost. It's a lot. Not all of them are having the same views, or meaning like simple and cost, the sustainability and cost, it doesn't all come hand in hand. But our customers are balancing it, and we are balancing it as well together with them. So I think this, I want to say the dance or the partnership between us and them can really help us figure out what are the right priorities so we can serve them better.
How much of that feeds directly into your transformation kind of journey then, that it starts to some degree with what you can learn from your customers and what they need from you?
Actually, you are asking a trickier question than you might assume. The reason why
I'm not very clever, Alena, to be fair. So.
The reason why I'm hesitant to answer is because sometimes our customers don't know themselves, because the environment, the macroeconomic environment and the regulatory environment where we operate in is challenging. The economy in Europe is not doing great. There is very limited growth prospects. At the same time, there is a lot of regulatory pressure. So balancing this out and making the decision, sometimes our customers are standing still just to thinking, let's wait for another year and see how it goes, and maybe something will become easier. So we are sometimes even pushing forward with, let's say, sustainability and design for recycling packaging. Because we understand that the industry needs to make this change. So sometimes we're waiting for the customer to tell us, and sometimes we are pushing forward because we know this is the right thing to do. So what adapa does with sustainability, we really push forward to the extent that sometimes customers are like, maybe in 5 years, and we're like, maybe now. Try.
Okay, so let's change tack a little and move on to kind of the technology that the business uses. From a printing and converting perspective, is there that big word again, a transformation or a strategy at work here in terms of the the technology that the business is investing in and how it sees its future?
Mm-hmm. The technology is a key part of transformation. Flexible packaging market needs to change. Customers need solutions that are recyclable or designed for recycling, that are cost effective. At the same time, they are not ready to compromise on machine performance or on performance. And this is quite complex for portfolio, and it is quite complex for technologists as well. So what is the right, making the bets on what are the future-proof technologies is a critical part of the strategy and of transformation.
Okay, and what is, since we're FlexoTech, what is Flexo's role for adapa going forward, given, you know, a lot of what we've discussed about a mix of technologies and the evolution of packaging and flexible packaging? What's the role of Flexo, and how will that maybe evolve as things change as well?
Flexo is growing, and it will take a bigger and bigger role across the industry. Flexo plays on a few really important trends. Customers, or that we see shorter product life cycles, because customers, we want change. We don't want the same packaging. We want to see something new. So that means shorter product life cycle. There is higher SKU complexity, have more choices. There is a higher need for speed for market and more flexible production. So sometimes that comes at the cost of quality. The industry is evolving, but the fast speed shorter, this is where Flexo is really strong, and it's well positioned for that. So this is those are the key drivers why we believe Flexo will continue to grow. At the same time, I just want to be just to give a caveat that all printing technologies have its values, and we offer a full suite of technological portfolios depending on the customer needs. So I think there is a bit of a balance on, I'll rephrase it. There is a shift, but it's kind of slow and gradual, because sometimes you need Flexo, sometimes you need Roto, sometimes you need digital, and it will continue to be so in the many, many years to come.
Yes. Well, I guess, I mean, do you see digital printing becoming something that you increasingly use in line with customer needs and customer demands?
Absolutely. We have a very strong digital unit. We were one of the pioneers of digital printing in Europe. And we use it not just for, because, you know, each printing technology has its own sweet spot in terms of the lengths of printing or the size of the job. And we use digital not just for promotions or, you know, little campaigns or little pilots. We use digital to serve smaller customers, or we use digital to serve brands for smaller campaigns. So digital is a crucial part of our success story and a crucial component of serving customers for flexible packaging market customers.
Okay, so more broadly in terms of technology and innovation, so obviously not just talking about printing technologies now, how is the evolution in flexible packaging, you know, things like connected packaging, smart packaging, etc., coming in? How is that changing the proposition that adapa needs to put forward to its customers? And that's an overall kind of proposition, not just the printing side of things, obviously.
Yeah, I understand. We are no longer talking about packaging, we are talking about the solution. And there is a big distinction, because packaging is just a piece of film or paper that protects goods. A solution is something that also answers regulatory requirements. Documentation that is required for regulation is also part of the solution, or proof that the solution is recyclable, PFAS, NIA, or CSRD, all the acronyms that are required for the regulation, it's also part of the solution. You're talking about digital printing and connected packaging. There is enormous amount of use cases for that as well. It's not going to be, in my personal opinion, it's not going to be broad, because it's still quite an expensive technology, but to use it maybe to enable recyclability of certain packaging formats, maybe to ensure consumer protection, for example, for healthcare goods or other items. It is growing. There will never be one size fits all solution. It's going to be very dependent on the customer segment and customer needs and the final end user. But this is the beauty of the industry and the transformation that we're going through. The choices are going to be imminent. Not sure if that's the right word to use. There are going to be a lot of choices, and it's just us offering and being ready to offer them to our customers and decide on them together with our customers.
Okay. So changing tack once more, moving on to areas of kind of management and leadership and style within that you use. So as a business professional, what approaches to management or leadership do you utilize or believe in that you find most effective, and why?
Mm-hmm. And we've briefly talked about it. So it's leading by example, being honest and transparent to my team, always setting a clear direction. And sometimes I'm in conversations with my team as easy as, guys, I'm not sure what the direction is, but the problem I'm trying to solve is somewhere here. Let's discuss it together. So co-creation, leadership, leading by example, and all of this with open communication. We've discussed this. Change is not comfortable. Transformation is not comfortable. Doing things differently is not comfortable. It implies trade-offs, a lot of trade-offs, and you need to make decisions that sometimes are not popular, but people need to accept that it's for the best of their company, it is for the best of their team, it's for the best of the industry, because this is how the world is. The world is changing, and all industries need to change with them. So just to summarize, and I think that's also a nice reflection for myself, my leadership style is honest communication, direction, accountability, and passion. I really love people who call me and tell me about the problem or challenge or solution they found, and I don't have a technical background, and I will not understand what they're talking about. I'm not a packaging engineer, but I will love listening to them, and I will try to make a logical and structural choice based on feedback that they give me. But I absolutely love the passion that we bring to our day-to-day life.
Yeah. Is it possible to make the process comfortable for people through that kind of, or any kind of leadership really, or do you kind of just have to say, okay, it's not necessarily going to be easy, but this is where we need to get to at the end of the process?
I wish I can say there is a magic trick or magic leadership style or magic way of talking that makes change comfortable. But even in our own personal life, not outside of work, we know change is not comfortable. I have a 1-year-old, and diaper change is not comfortable, and we deal with it every day. So I
Is
think
that for
it's
you
just.
or
So what I want to say is, we know change is difficult. It's just accepting and taking the best of it. And I personally love complexity. I love change. It's never boring. So it's just having drive for this type of environment.
Okay. And so coming towards the conclusion, but where do you find inspiration for management styles or leadership approaches that you kind of most admire? I mean, and it could be a person, it could be a famous person, it could be an organization or a particular influencer or a book that you've come across. What's your take on that?
Gladly you gave me the list of questions in advance, so I thought it through. And I actually, the answer to this question came to me almost immediately. A few years ago, I read a biography of the British-Irish polar explorer, Ernst Shackleton.
Shackleton, okay, yeah.
And for those who don't know him, but he did an expedition, endurance expedition, and his ship got trapped in the Antarctic ice, and his ship was crushed. And that was back in the times without mobile phones or internet or connectivity. So his team
Didn't they get
was,
out and walk?
yeah, yeah, on the ice. But
Yeah.
his team was stranded for 2 years, and he got everyone home safely and sanely 2 years later. So they survived on the ice for 2 years. And I'm in no position to compare the transformation that our company is going through to Antarctic expedition, and I'm not implying it in any way, but I do admire his leadership style because it was challenging, it was tough, but he made it clear that this is the situation where we are. He never made false promises. He gave clarity, even when he didn't know throughout the process what's going to be next. He's staying calm and honest. And I think this is something that I really want to bring in my everyday life as well. And I truly believe that my role is to help my team to move forward. And let's see how I'm doing it. Ask me, let's connect in a couple of years' time and you see.
We'll do this again in 2 years' time, Alena,
Yeah,
shall
exactly.
we? Yeah. Just to finish off then, and a kind of hopefully a nice little ending. I mean, how much do you enjoy the role that you're in now and trying to bring about projects of major change like this?
I love it. I absolutely love it. And I think that's something that maybe characterizes adapa. We have passion, and people have passion for enormous amount of things, be it supply chain or be it raw materials or be it, and we are geeks. Let's be honest. We our passions lay in different different types of topics. I'm extremely passionate about complexity and kind of taking step by step in a complex environment and building frameworks and giving structure. And I every day, not every day it's difficult, not every day it's easy, but every day I definitely appreciate my work and I am very happy at adapa.
Okay, that seems as good a place as any to end. Thank you very much, Alena. Who knew that we were going to be, going into polar exploration during the course of this conversation? That was a surprise. So thank you for that. And hopefully lots of interesting insights for FlexoTech readers and people who have a look at the podcast when this comes out. We'll hopefully be doing another one very soon for FlexoTech as well. But for now, thank you very much, Alena. Excellent stuff. And see you again soon. Thanks. Bye.
Bye. Thank you for having me.